to the king, baby.
We're giving one more hail to the king. This is Tim. This is your Giant Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Oh, in some regards, the Devito mania has run into a brick wall known as the New Orleans Saints secondary and defensive line. Want to talk about Brian Daboll and his inexplicable decisions at times with his quarterback in regards to injuries and all these other fun things. But the Giants came crashing down to earth a little bit tonight. Or today, Tommy Devito came crashing down to earth a little bit. I knew there was going to be trouble on that first play that Devito missed Slate. And he didn't miss him. He just threw him short. And we did the stream today, and I said one of my biggest concerns about Tommy DeVito is the fact that his arm strength. His arm strength is just, to me, is not, we talk about Drake can make all the throws on Sunday. Tommy DeVito can't. And he's a good story, and he's a good kid, and he plays his heart out, and he gives you all he has talent-wise. But at the end of the day, he is just not a top-tier NFL starting quarterback. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. And everything that I worried about that the Saints would do to him today on the stream, they did. Now, I thought the Giants could win this. I thought maybe DeVito Mania would have stopped, kept going on for at least one more week, and then we would have ran into a buzzsaw known as the Philadelphia Eagles on Christmas Day. But everything that I thought could come to fruition, in regards to the fact that the Saints would just drop a spy, they would not over pursue DeVito, they would not overcommit on the rush, they would keep everything directly in front of him. It's what happened. I will tell you this: I did not give the Saints secondary as much credit as they probably deserved. They are good. I know they are ranked 5th against the pass. They are a good crew defensively in the secondary. It just is what it is. Tommy DeVito, 20 of 34 for 177, 5.2. And those stats are hyperinflated because of some of those big pass plays the Saints were just giving up at the end of the game. He was sacked 7 times for 57 yards. Running game got nowhere. You got 9 carries for Barkley for 14 yards. You got Burrito for 3 carries for 10. The defense at times was non-existent as Derek Carr went 23 of 28 for 218 and 3 touchdowns. Kamara looked good. Kamara shockingly lowered his shoulder a bunch of times that I was surprised about. He had 16 carries for 66 yards for 4.1 a carry. Longest run was 15 yards. There was no fumbles for either team. No interceptions. In reference to sacks on Carr, there was 1 sack, and that was Pinnock's sack. We had a no-show once again from Kayvon Thibodeau, who got manhandled at times. It's weird. Kayvon plays. We talked about this again on the stream today. Kayvon reminds me of Marcus Golden. He has his moments. He has his ability. He has these sacks in bunches. And then when push comes to shove, when the game's on the line, when it's a big opportunity, he comes up with 1 tackle. And it was 1 solo tackle. So, and we only had 2 tackles for losses to the Saints 8. It just is what it is. We ran into a buzzsaw. We ran into a better team. Our luck ran out because we don't really have any. I'm not saying the Packers to me were banged up and defensively they're not as good as the Saints. While the Patriots are good on defense, they're terrible on offense. That's why we only scored 10 points. I mean, it was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. We were bound to come crashing down to earth. That's what we did. I just have this concern about Daboll though. He just leaves his quarterbacks. Tommy DeVito was not right after that hit towards the end of the half. He didn't have his springness in him. He didn't have his thought process. He just looked like a different quarterback. You could see it also in his eyes. And I was texting OGR Sports and a bunch of other people just saying he just doesn't look right. There's just he's not the same guy that he was that started the game and started the other 3 games. And Daboll, of course, and all of his bullheadedness, I guess we maybe call it bullheadedness or just stupidity, leaves him out there. And then at the end of the game, he gets his ankle stepped on. Daboll leaves him out there. And then towards the other part of the end of the game, also he something evidently cramped in his calf or something because he went down again. Daboll left him out there. Daboll did the same thing to Daniel Jones and multitudes of blowout losses. I don't understand what his aversion is to taking out a quarterback who's either not playing well or is somewhat hampered by injuries. It's a head scratcher. It's a head scratcher once again. And I'll tell you what. One of the things that I hate. One of the things I hate with the hand thing with Devito. And I said this on the stream also, that all this is going to come back to haunt us. And the Saints defense after the sacks were making the hand gesture. And one of the things I was telling people I was worried about today is when you have some kind of gesture such as that, when you do that, you're not showing up the other team. And I'm not saying that that's what Devito and everyone was doing when they were making hey, look at that hand gesture. The only problem is when you lose and you get beat, those people that you did that against, the people that are beating you are going to start using the same gesture as a mockery of you. And that was one of the biggest things. That was one of the things I talked about during the stream that I didn't like about Devito Mania was all the stereotypical Italiano things that were going on. And I know some people are fine with it. I also know some people that live in central New Jersey over in Trenton who aren't too happy about it because they think it's it's an Italian stereotype. Same thing with his agent and his dad. It's just like I said, it was going to reach a crescendo. And I'm not saying Tommy Mania is over, but it's not looking good when you also got to go against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Rams, and the Eagles again. And I that last game of the season, I have this feeling the Eagles might actually need that game to either secure the division or some type of home field advantage. So I don't know. Like I said, it is what it is. The talk and the talk and the wave of playoffs. Talking playoffs, that should be gone. That should be done. That should be over. That should just be moved out of the way now. We need to focus on fixing the problems at hand. The offensive line is still the issue. You still have an issue with your linebacking core. You still need a second pass rusher on that on that defensive line. You're still going to need a quarterback of the future because Tommy DeVito is definitely not in, and neither is Daniel Jones. We know that. But like I said, it was just we got wrecked. We ran up against a good team, and that's what the story of the season is. We beat the bad teams, and then we run up to a good team, and then we get thrown into the buzzsaw. But like I said, I just don't understand this proclivity of Brian Dale leaving these quarterbacks out there. I don't get it. I really don't get it. He's going to get somebody killed, and he's going to get. I mean, I'm not saying he got Daniel Jones hurt, but he got DeVito cooked. And he left him out there. So, I mean, if there is a reason or a rationale why, I would love to know it because there was no reason to have Tommy DeVito in that game unless you didn't want to injure Tyrod Taylor because you're thinking about starting him against Philadelphia. But I don't think that's the case because you were going for it on fourth down when you were down 24-6, thinking the fact that you could come back with 5 minutes left because you were still chucking the ball down the field. So, I don't know. Daboll is an enigma wrapped in a riddle. And that's what we're going to have to kind of figure out with this team. So, you know what? Dropping to 5-9. We're out of playoff contention. Let's just end that story now. Let's focus on the remaining 3 games of the season. Let's focus on seeing what we can do in reference to getting a different quarterback in here for next year. Let's focus on a lot of other things. And again, this is Tim, this is New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. And as always, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'll be awesome.